It's Lauren.
Dan and Marine, AAA says this year over 600,000 Oklahomans are expected to hit the roadways. That's the highest number of Thanksgiving travelers in 7 years. They say that's in part due to lower gas prices. Hey, Dan and Marine. Well, we've had a great turnout today here at the Walmart in Ardmore, and we actually had a couple guys with the Marine Corps Reserve out here with us a little bit earlier, and they really helped us fill our box here. Although we are still running short on our goal of 15,000 toys for the southern Oklahoma area this year, and this is our last week of the toy drive. So you still got over an hour if you're able to swing by and bring by a new unwrapped toy or cash donation. And I'm told we're specifically in need of toys for babies or kids that are around 12 years old or older. And now we're going to go over to Tom, who's standing by in Denison. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol Troop F says in the first 7 months of this year, 177 drug arrests were made, and that's compared to 81 drug arrests made last year during the same time frame. And that's why troopers are being trained to be increasingly aware of drivers acting suspicious. According to court documents, Ringwald picked up the male subject here at the Brahms in Sulphur around 2 a.m. on August the 5th. She then drove him to her home on Big Canyon Road. And as you can see, fire crews are still out here monitoring hot spots, and they tell me the building was a total loss. Kristen, what we know right now is an adult male, Eduardo Luna, out of Oklahoma City, has reportedly drowned here. We also have some other blood drives set up around Texoma, and those are listed on our web channel, KXII.com. I'm live in Kingston. Lauren Smith, back to you, Rita. OHP says the rollover accident happened here around 3:30 p.m. 3 adult males were in the car. One was killed. One has been air flighted to Oklahoma City. A Sherman High School graduate and her father found dead in an Arlington home. Now police say her stepmother is charged with their murders. Their 10 most dangerous cities in Oklahoma list is based off of FBI data, and the #1 ranking goes to Ardmore.
We're on the I-35 corridor straight out of Mexico. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what the major problem is.
Resident Rita Myers says she wasn't surprised to see her city at the top of the list and believes it's due to drug trafficking.
And until they can get that under control, we're going to continue to have the crime rate and, the arrest, the police out on the streets more than they should be.
I was a little shocked at first because I've lived here for 14 years now, and I was a little bit astonished.
Jeremy Salinas is a senior at Ardmore High School. He says he's never felt unsafe in his city.
There's nice people, a great community. There's a lot of things to do, but I don't think it's dangerous whatsoever.
According to the report, your chance of becoming a victim of a crime here in Ardmore is 1 in 14.
I don't see any reason to panic yet.
Ardmore Police Chief Ken Grace says the crime rate is due to the city's growing population.
We're having a lot more people in and out of this community than we've ever had before, and we're trying to do the same job with the same amount of officers.
Grace says the stats could also be a reflection of inconsistent methods of reporting crime.
Not every police department reports every little thing, a broken window, like we do.
I don't go out at night, and you couldn't pay me enough to go to one of these stores around here at night.
I think the only way it's dangerous is if you associate with wrong people. But other than that, I think it's a pretty good place to live.
A massive marijuana growing operation is busted in Johnston County, sending 3 men to jail. News 12's Lauren Smith was on scene today and spoke to the sheriff, who says he's never seen anything quite like this.
This operation was the largest I've ever been involved in, and some of the other agents here are saying likewise that it's possibly the largest one in the state that they're aware of.
Johnston County Sheriff John Smith says well over a ton of marijuana was discovered Saturday evening on a ranch located off of Norton Road near the Ouachita River.
We had a call for some trespassers on the property here, and 2 deputies came out and actually made contact with 4 individuals at a campsite.
Gilberto Campos, Alfonso Correa, and Rigoberto Robles were taken into custody. One suspect, a Hispanic male, is still at large after running from officers.
From all indications, they've probably been here all through the spring and summer.
They would sit here in this chair and they'd trim the buds off the plants.
Smith says the suspects, who they do not believe are from the area, are facing multiple charges.
Cultivation of marijuana, probably drug trafficking. There were also 5 firearms located at the scene, so possession of a firearm while in commission of a felony, and probably some additional charges we'll confer with the district attorney about.
He says 6 different agencies, including the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, are assisting the sheriff's office in the investigation and the disposal of the marijuana.
We take samples of the individual marijuana piles, and then once we do that, the fire department, we saturate it with diesel and then set fire and just let it burn out.
Sheriff Smith says the men are being held without bond and will go before a judge sometime this week.
OSBI says drought conditions may have led to the discovery of human remains in rural Stevens County in March. Now they're back at that location, digging deeper to solve a homicide that's several years old. Lauren Smith was on the scene. She brings us the details. Lauren.
Dan and Marine, OSBI says they believe the remains belong to a woman who went missing back in 2006. I caught up with them today as they work to uncover further evidence. I also spoke with the man whose grandson found the remains this past spring.
3 of my grandsons went on that pond fishing because the neighbors let them go over and fish. And the water had got down, it was hitting pretty low. And they happened to look down and see some bones, and they thought at first it was a turtle shell.
Yoel Magby says when his grandsons brought a skull up to the house for him to look at back in March, he had no idea they had just uncovered new evidence in a suspected homicide case dating back 8 years.
I've seen animal skulls and stuff before, but that didn't look like the same. So I got on a phone and called the sheriff's office in Duncan. And they come out and looked, and sure enough, it turned out to be a human skull.
Everything that we've found out here we believe to be related to our investigation in the death of Rose Bagley.
Assistant Special Agent with OSBI Beth Green says 55-year-old Rose Bagley was reported missing in May 2006. 2 months later, some of her remains were discovered in this rural area of Stevens County, and authorities began investigating her death as suspicious. In March of this year, more of her remains were found on this same property near Bailey Road and Sand Hill Road.
Animal activity comes into play in spreading their remains so that we don't have necessarily an intact body. That's not what we were working with back then, and that's why we're continuing to do work now, is to try to uncover additional remains.
Green says severe drought conditions played a key part in the discovery of the remains.
That certainly has assisted us. We additionally have drained the pond in preparation for today and for this week's excavation.
She says no charges have ever been filed in the case, and they hope their work this week will help them zero in on a suspect.
Certainly we're looking to have enough information to be able to charge somebody and prosecute them. We're wanting justice for Rose and her family.
Agent Green says they plan to be on site in Stevens County for the rest of the week. Just in the past couple of hours, troopers have made another drug arrest on I-35 in Love County. No further info on that arrest is being released at this time. Live in Ardmore, Lauren Smith, News 12. And let me just tell you, we have gotten some super awesome toys today. We've gotten some Star Wars stuff, we've gotten some princess stuff, but we still have many boxes to fill. Our goal for Southern Oklahoma is 15,000 toys this year, and we want every child in Texoma to wake up to a toy under the Christmas tree this year. So we'd love for you to come by and say hi and bring by that new unwrapped toy or cash donation that'll go straight to an underprivileged child here in Texoma. And I'm Lauren Smith. An inmate who escaped from a prison in McAllister on Tuesday was arrested by Durant police earlier tonight.